Welcome back to Watching Film and Varnadore Films. I'm Seth Varnadore. I'm a former college and high school coach. Now I break down film here on YouTube with a particular emphasis on the Florida Gators. Florida started their season on Thursday night, not in exactly the way they would have liked to. I don't think the game was quite as bad as it maybe felt while watching it, because it felt pretty bad if you were a Florida fan watching that game. A lot of correctable issues, things you would hope would be corrected after game one. And again, this is why people don't like to play tough games early, right? There's a lot of little issues that may not pop up until the lights are on. And when you go on the road, those issues can get compounded when you play a well coached team like Utah. So let's just get right to the film. Don't need to say too much more. We're going to watch a lot more of the offense. I thought the defense played pretty well. We'll put a couple plays in there. I thought they busted a couple times, and they kind of paid for it both times. But if you take out the two kind of explosives, the 70-yard pass to start the game and the 33-yard run, I think they gave up like 170 yards on the other 51 plays. So defense was not an issue. And if somebody says defense was an issue, I don't know what game they were watching. But all right, so let's take a look. We'll watch a lot of offense. We'll start just right at the beginning here. Let's start first play of the game. You're going to get to a flood concept. I don't know if this was checked or if this was called. All right, you're going to end up getting to a flood concept where he's going to run more of a curl right here. I'm assuming he's running up the out. Backside, I believe you have an in, right? So just kind of a different way for them to run flood. Flood's one of their top concepts, different way to get to it. But you end up getting a nice gain here on first down. Good quick decision by Mertz, who I thought played pretty well. A couple times, I think there's some throws he wants back and maybe a couple decisions he might want back. For the most part, I thought he played pretty well. 2nd and 2. This is one where I wonder going forward if you're going to see a different guy, and we'll show the other guy getting these the rest of the year. But this wasn't kind of his issue. This is really here. You've got to get the leverage here, right? Don't make this thing cut back. As soon as you make it cut back, you're cutting it back to all these guys. And you'll see later, Florida does a really good job on a jet sweep themselves later. But here, you've got to get that thing reached. If you can get that reached, then you've got an easy first down. Instead, you're getting smoked for a 1-yard gain, right? All right, 3rd and 1. It being loud, I don't know how loud it is there. I don't think that should be an issue. I think every single one of these guys has played in a similar size or larger stadium. And you've got, an Alabama guy here. You got Florida guys, a Baylor guy. I'm sure they've played in some loud stadiums. But really, I think the issue was Utah moves here just to shift, but that kind of draws the Florida guys off. So instead of a 3rd and 1, you go to a 3rd and 6. And you're not able to convert and keep the chains moving here. So this was, I thought, the right decision here. So Utah had been a lot of single high stuff. So we're going to get that on this side, and then curl. He's kind of going between these guys, curl, and then flare in the back. And you're really kind of eyeing him a little bit, right? If he flies out to the back, you might be able to fit one of these curl routes in. If he does what he does here, you should throw it to the back. This is one of the throws I think Mertz would like to have back. I think he gets a little lazy with his feet right here. Instead of resetting and dropping it down, right? Bang here. I don't like it. Bang, flip your hips and kind of reset. It's kind of a half flip. Just kind of open yourself up here. Leads to a high throw. Still probably should have been caught, but you got to have a better throw there. And I thought that was one of his worst ones tonight. If you can get it to him, he's one-on-one with a corner, and I think you feel all right with that. Make these guys tackle. Utah did a pretty good job, but a better ball gives them a chance there. So you're off the field. Here's look at it from the other view. Again, as soon as he's here, right? As soon as I see him coming this way, I'm thinking here, right? So he's probably looking to the outside curl, bang, drop it down, just get a better ball, and you got a shot. All right. Well, this is the first play of the game. So, Armstrong is known as he did a lot of stuff out of one high, a lot of stuff out of cover three. So start out with he'll do a lot of the one high like pattern match stuff, but he'll also play it as cover three sometimes. But just to kind of get the look I think Utah wants here, motion across, make it a 3-by-1. I think they probably think that'll trigger the safety down, trigger one to the middle of the field. This is one where I think it's a good play call, but for Utah, good play call. But this ball I think should have been intercepted. This thing hung up in the air forever. So even with a good call, I mean, so I think the safety's got a chance to get underneath this one with how long it hung up. So good first call for Utah. I think Florida could have executed that one better. But a tough start on the road. Definitely don't take the crowd out of it. Now you get the ball back. First down here. So this is something that Florida's going to have to do and figure out, right? Writing for GatorsBreakdown.com. My first piece of the year was kind of a question on how will Florida protect their run game. So this is kind of a modern triple option look here, where you're running zone in here, and not only you're reading for the zone, but when I pull it, I'm watching the guy on Pearsall. If nobody goes with him, and you'll see Utah run this pretty much the same exact idea for a touchdown later. It hits a little different when the guy runs like a 10-500 meters, but good read. And here, if he's not flying with it, Mertz is going to pull this thing and throw it right here. But he flies out. So you pick up a couple. And even if you're only picking up 4 or 5, hopefully you would hope that would keep the defense a little more honest and off your run game. Now, I think Utah's plan was, hey, we're just going to stack the box and then try to put a top on the defense and make Florida go down the field on us. And Florida's self-inflicted wounds and the penalties kind of killed that, right? So here you got 3rd and 5. This is one where it's not a bad decision. I don't think it's a bad concept, and the throw's not bad. And you'll see there's a kind of a ref issue here, but you got a drive concept, which against a too high look is a good call. So as these guys kind of jump this shallow underneath, it should open a hole back here for the in route. And you kind of see maybe the timing gets thrown off a little bit here. With this, hoping you can avoid it. I'd like to see Pearsall get a little bit flatter. Get across right now a little bit quicker and open this thing up a little bit quicker. But still had a chance here. The safety drives on this, but you'll see from the back view, if I'm a little bit faster getting across here, maybe I get these eyes open a little quicker. So there's the hole right there. Not a bad spot, right? You can't throw it too tight to this ref. You've got an underneath defender here as well, so that's not a bad spot for it out in here. Just hoping your guy can pull that in. He's going to take a shot, but you're hoping he can kind of pull that in. But good play by the Utah safety. And this is where, if you're Florida, and now I guess the issue is, right, protecting it. You'd like to get to where if they start driving on this, which they start to, you'd like to have something over the top there to take a shot. But I think the protection became an issue where they couldn't quite get to those things. So another 3 and out there. Get to the 3rd drive here. 1st and 10. And then I think the question a lot of times is why isn't Florida running the ball? I mean, Every time they had a tight end attached, it was a 7-man box. If they brought 2 tight ends, it would be an 8-man box. The box was they were trying to stop the run, right? And this is another good one to protect your run game, right? If guys aren't going to respect the run game and try to run stuff down from behind, run reverses. So game plan going forward, get this dude the ball as much as possible. He had a different gear than anybody else on the field last night. More touches for him, I think, can only mean good things for the Florida offense. This was something here that I thought Florida could have done a little bit more, and it was not Florida so much last year. It was about play action shots over the top, right? A ton of vertical shots over the top. The big time explosive, right? With Richardson, you get those play action shots over the top. Against this Utah team, these backers are playing runs so hard. You could have done with a little bit more of this kind of here. You get a post over the top, but you're really getting this intermediate crosser coming back. So right there, you get the crosser, good ball, good timing here, and you can really see it from this side. The run action, because not only do you get the jet motion, you get the guard pulling, right? And I can't remember exactly who the coach was, but old saying, if you want to sell play action, you want to sell run and pull a guard. Florida pulls the guard here. So you get the jet fake for a little eye candy here, get him out of the play. The run fake gets these guys to step up, and then thank you very much. I'm just going to slip back behind. And you've got Pearsall taking the top off. Good job by Mertz here. Coming down to it, hitting him in stride, and Burke has a chance to go make a play. So you come back, you get moving a little bit here. You come back, screen. This is another thing I kind of was asking last year. Where's the kind of the Florida screen game? I think your backs are 2 of your more dynamic players. You got to get the ball in their hand in a variety of ways. Great job setting up the screen here. I thought this thing might go for a second. Pretty good tackle there, but it looked like that thing had a chance. So again, using the motion, right? He's coming across with the motion, and then pull and really make it look like a counter look. Sell play action, suck this guy in, and then really good job. I thought the screen game was a really pleasant surprise. It's something I was looking for more last year. I think areas that still need improvement, right? In terms of what I'd like to see a little more variety in the quick game and intermediate play action game. I think that's stuff that can really help this team. But screen game was another one, and I thought last night it was pretty good. So this is kind of a drive killer right here. You're going to have the design here is to kind of have a deep dig and then the crosser coming back this way. And then he's going to carry out and you can drop it off to him. It's kind of a check down. Should be a pretty protected play here. You've got the tight end and the back both in protection. This is okay. I think I've seen some people, say he got crushed. The ball's here. So what is that? 3 yard, 1, 2, 3 yards from here. So this is 8 yards back here. If you're running a guy 8 yards past 8 yards on the loop or whatever, on the hoop, quarterback's got to step. I mean, he's at 9 yards. So I think quarterback maybe he slips a little bit here, but man, you can't be 10 yards deep there. So he slips. The real issue is here. You lose this. This is meant to be kind of a downfield and drop it off. I think Mertz here, he doesn't get a chance to. If he can just get to here, which I think if you can hold this block, you have a chance to get to this and just pick up, let's say it's 3 or 4. You're in second and 7 instead of second and 19 or whatever it ends up being. So right here, running across, and then a dig there. See, Utah plays it well, but this would be bang, drop it off right there. You're one-on-one with a corner, but you don't get that chance. So now you're second and 18 instead of being second and 7 or second and 8. A little counter look, pulling the backside guard and the tight end. I thought they ran the gap scheme really well all night. Now, Utah was just kind of wrong shoulder spilling this thing. But this could have been something. They didn't come to it. They came to it, I think, one more time in the game, and both times they ran it. Pretty successful play. Here you get 3rd and 12. Here's the thing. There's not a ton of plays for 3rd and 10 plus. Like, especially because the defense understands where the sticks are, right? Well-coached defense, not routinely going to give up 10-yard plays on 3rd and 10, right? So there's not a ton of plays for 3rd and 10 plus. So I like the idea here. The idea is you're going to run mesh, and you're going to move Pearsall into the backfield, see if you can get man coverage, right? So let's talk about the mesh. So it looks like you got those are your shallow crosses. He's your over the ball guy. And they move Pearsall in the backfield to run the wheel. So if you do get man coverage, now you got your best receiver maybe on a linebacker. And this is something Utah showed a ton of pressure in man coverage. They were not afraid to play man coverage last year. So not a bad idea. They don't show man, so Mertz just drops it off, right? I think you can't be concerned and tell Mertz to take care of the football and then at the same time get mad, even though it's 3rd and forever. Like, live to play another day, kick a field goal, get points. This drive was kind of screwed on the first down, right? So don't try to get it all back here and force something. Drop it down, live to play another day. You get a field goal out of it. You get the ball back here. So 1st and 10. So far, you see a lot of kind of self-inflicted errors, self-inflicted wounds here. Utah's a tough team, though. I think the issue for Florida is I don't think this Utah defense is particularly special. So I think they'll see some pretty similar ones. Here's another look at trying to use the reverse to protect the run. And you see it does hold some guys back here. However, you get a corner here coming in and making the play. And if the corners are going to come in and make tackles, one, you got to tip your hat to him, right? Because Alex Gibbs, guy that kind of helped revolutionize the wide zone and was with Shanahan and the Broncos. And, he was, corners don't tackle on our level either. Make those efforts tackle. He used some colorful language, but make them tackle, right? So, bravo, I guess, right, to the Utah corner making the tackle. Go to empty the next play. I thought they got some good looks in empty. I didn't know how much we'd see it, but Utah kind of the way they're playing, going in empty could present you with some good looks. I think they go a little Haas juke here, which is was a staple of the New England Patriots. I think we last saw this at Florida against Kentucky last year. What you're going to do is you're going to kind of get a sit. He's the juke route. Haas is hitch. Outside guys running hitches. So down here off the screen, you got a hitch. And then seam, which can kind of be more slot fade-ish. So against one high, you can work the seams on either side. And then you also got this juke route, which is going to look like he's going to curl, and then he's going to break back into space here. So that's another possibility right there. You see him kind of curl up for a second, and now he's going to break back. This is a guy I think you like on this route here this year. He's a guy that can win on it. But, hey, if you get one on the slot fade, I like the decisiveness. Watch him watch the safety here. Holds the safety here, lets it rip. holds him, hit your back foot, throw it. Really good ball, good catch in traffic there. So you're starting to feel like you're moving the ball a little bit. You feel pretty good. Then I like this too. Just watch. This is what I think as they go back and watch, they're gonna realize, man, we should have done a lot more in the intermediate play action. Watch the play you get out of these backers. It's not so much the back end, right? These guys are playing up top. They were letting everything stay in front of them. They were playing pretty much top down. I think you got behind them really one time. Um, and we'll show that one later. And there was a reason you got behind them on that one and not the other double moves we tried. But I think they're going to go back and see, man, look at the play we got of the linebackers on anytime we had run fake. You really could have worn out, I think, some intermediate play action, and this would have been a great game to be a little bit more RPO heavy. And I think you have that in the arsenal, but for whatever reason, didn't come out. But again, just watch the play you get here, and you're getting man on the receiver. But this is pretty cool too. Watch how Odom plays this as well. Comes down like he's blocking, and then is able to kind of slip back out here. Comes down, and you see he kind of gets swam and left, and now there's nobody back over here. He's able to make a nice move there, get you another first down. So now you feel pretty good. First down inside the red zone. The quarter switched over. You got a chance to go in and take the lead if you can score a touchdown here. So these are the ones where it's like you got to protect your run game. You've got to play action RPO. Why? Because and you try to protect it with a jet, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3 right here. That's a stacked box. This is where you'd like to have, some play action off this kind of, or something just quick, intermediate. Why pop? That kind of thing. Or if you stay in this set, if you just flash fake slants, that kind of intermediate passing game there. Now, obviously, you wouldn't want to motion the guy into the slant, but there's kind of the hole right behind the defense right there with these guys filling for runs so hard, right? Because it's hard to block 8 dudes. It's just difficult, and you could maybe read them instead of block them. So you get to second, you pick up 3, you get to 2nd and 7, and I don't mind this. You motion the back out, you go to empty, slot fade, hitch here, and then you get seam here, and I think he's getting wide as well. So 3 verts. I'm not sure if what the back. It's hard to see him off screen here what he's doing, but I don't mind this. You get a one-on-one with your best receiver, take a shot to the slot fade. Now, let's say for some reason you come off of it, or the safety, right? This safety in the middle. Let's say he just flies to it. But watch this little seam right here. Right? If the safety's flying over the top, bang, switch my eyes back to the seam here, hit him going down the seam there. So I don't mind taking that shot, but if you felt like the safety was getting over the top of it, come down to it. This is one where I really like the call here they have on. Unfortunately, they didn't get the playoff, right? So check out this call. It's pretty cool, I think, what they're trying to do. First of all, I'd imagine he might have, like, all this room. He might have an option maybe, but I don't know that for sure. But what I do see, motion him out, kind of look how far off these guys are playing. He's going to turn and go vertical. This guy's playing man, so he's just going to turn and run with him. He's just going to run right underneath these guys and use that as a natural pick for these other 2. So right here, now, obviously they don't get the playoff, so this is all kind of moot, but you can kind of see what the play call was. So right here, as he turns, he's coming right underneath there, and that's just going to be like a natural rub. Now, obviously these guys would have moved over the top and maybe makes a play, but it's just a natural rub to your big body tight end right there. I like that design. I don't think they came back to it, but I like the design there. 3rd and 12. This is a concept they like where it looks like it's 4 verts with the shallow coming across, but they'll run him on a corner and him on a dig. So you get like 3 concepts in one here. Really, you almost get like a snag concept where you get a guy here, one or you get a kind of an intermediate, you get a guy to the flat and you get a guy to the corner. You get a little bit of the 4 vert, like some of the good stuff about 4 verts with this vert coming across. You get shallow cross with a shallow coming here and the dig coming behind it. So it's kind of a combination of a bunch of different things. Utah does a pretty good job with it here, and you'll see that's why Mertz was kind of forced to run there and kind of get an unlucky bounce. I mean, the fumble's not great, but if Montrell's able to catch that ball right there, it's a first down. Instead, I think he's intentionally just knocking out of bounds, which is a smart play. But instead of having a first down there, you are faced with 4th and 1, and then you get a penalty and then forced to kick a field goal. So maybe you could try to put it on him right here, but he's squatting. I think they're playing kind of a deep path look, or it's kind of a interesting look. I think probably man everywhere he goes here. 3, and then tag that man everywhere. So they've covered this pretty well, but that leaves this hole right here to run. And you're able to pick up 11 on 3rd and 12. Unfortunately, you get in a 4th and 1, false start, have to kick a field goal. So this is after the double number 3, which with the explanation that you're in a safe punt, right? Rotating the punters, 2 for Pearsall, 1 for EW3. And then you go into a safe punt because of where Utah was punting from. So on a safe punt, you're playing for a possibility of a fake, right? And so what do? You leave your defense out there. Now, is that a good excuse to have 2 guys with the same number on? No, it's not. But that's how it happens, right? Hey, defense stay on, defense stay on, defense stay on. Those guys stay on. Somebody forgets, I guess, that, hey, we got a guy on defense with number 3. So he's got to be the one to come off, even if we're running safe punt. And I'm sure they practice that. But unfortunate and not great, right? That's one I think they'll be embarrassed about. So anyways, 2nd and 10 here after that. This is one here. I think you just don't have somebody go to the flat. You have the motion come across. Looks like you're going to 3 deep. Nobody runs to the flat. This is an easy one right here. So if you're playing 3 deep, usually, right, you got a hook curl player, you got a flat player. So it's one of these 2, right? Somebody's got to get the flat if they're playing 3 deep, and somebody can come down inside here. So nobody goes to the flat. Easy read for the quarterback. Easy throw. So you get a first down. And then here, I thought this was well played. Well played there on the speed option. Kind of don't make this thing happen right now. String it out a little bit, turn it back in, and the linebacker right there did a great job. And they finish it off there. And now here, this is when you get caught, right? So this is pretty much the same thing they were doing. Same idea as when Mertz pulled the ball, except you're going to motion here. Motion confirms coverage, right? Motion confirms man to the quarterback. So, right, if this guy runs a wheel, which I think he does, I think he kind of runs a post. But I don't think they have a throw on here for that. But they could. But he's going to run with the wheel. He's going to run with the post, right, if you're in man coverage. and then you bring this thing across. Now, this is something they like to do last year, so this isn't like brand new or anything, but just kind of a good call. They'd run this with Rising, and he would pick up, 10-ish. This guy's a little bit quicker. So right here, you get put in a bind a little bit because you got man here, man there, and then he's going to play this tight end here, right? If he doesn't play the tight end, he's running the flat. The quarterback will pull it. If he comes there, quarterback will pull it and throw it. You still got a good play. But you kind of get a stumble right here. He's got to run with that. And it's really just triple option. So dive guy, the quarterback's the keep guy, and he's the pitch guy. So same idea. It's just like you'd see in the Army-Navy game, just a little bit more open and outside of Malcolm Perry, a little bit faster, right? So good play call, right? That happens. Both teams call plays. Sometimes the other one calls a really good one. But you play a lot of plays, so it shouldn't come down to one or two, right? If they only get you one or two times, you should be all right. Safety could have come up and made the play there, but good play design, good call by Utah. They kind of caught Florida in that man look, and I don't think they showed him that again when that quarterback was in. So adjusted there. They also started bringing this just automatically bring the safety off the backside edge. So if the quarterback does pull it, now you got the safety in your face. So Florida adjusted to it. They just caught him. Another one here. Who makes the play? 5. You got a 5-3. This is one where, right, with this right here and with the corners playing outside, man, would have loved to have something like that off the play action, right? I think that's kind of, and this is something that was last year. You give passes in year one a little bit. I don't think the offense is. There's some people that the play calling is terrible. The offense, I'm not quite there, but there's places they need to grow for sure. Intermediate passing and the intermediate play action, the quick game is one of them. I think you can take a big step forward, and that would really help because they've showed the ability to scheme up explosives in the passing game. They've showed good ability to scheme up the run game, but the quick game has left something to be desired. Another good gap scheme. So if the jet, you're thinking the jet maybe widens this guy, but he sees that block down, he jumps inside. So you're able to kind of bounce around him. Not a bad job there. You'd like to see, though, get your head outside, right? If he's still got leverage. If I can get my helmet outside of his, he's got no more leverage. I don't have to worry about him making an arm tackle, right? He doesn't end up being in the play, but just a little coaching point there. Get that head outside, but get enough of them. Decent run, right? You're starting to put a little bit together. Right here, you got this is an interesting one, right? So you're getting too high. So you call kind of a dagger concept. So a dig and then a go. Usually the dig goes first. Or sorry, usually the go goes first and kind of opens that up and opens the dig up. Here the dig kind of wins and the safety takes it. I thought initially, if you got time here, you can throw a dig for a nice 15-yard gain. But wait till you see the back end here. And this is just there were times where this front struggled with movement and playing your first game on the road. There's some slippage, and I feel like there's some footing issues as well. But get the spin move, get put in the spin cycle a little bit. Mertz doesn't quite have time to get through it. But let's look at it from the back here. So you're going to get a dig there and then a go. Now, Pearsall gets kind of held up here, and the timing gets thrown a little bit. And I don't know why he needs to go. Maybe he's breaking back out of the corner. I don't know why he needs to go so far inside here. But they're kind of spray and release here. Dig. That's a little too far inside for my liking. But here you got the smash on. So you can work it here, right? As a quarterback, you can work it here, back to the dig coming across here. Is probably how they like to look at it. This doesn't get through until it's too late. But if you have a little more time, it's interesting. So you got the dig here. The safety takes the dig. You would get that if you had the time there. There would be nobody back there. So this is where we show that one early that man, wouldn't it be nice if these safeties are playing those digs so hard if you could get something over the top? Well, they kind of try to do it here. You get the safety playing the dig, and then you get that going behind it. And if you had, I don't know if you could have held up long enough, but as you can see here, it's a little blurry, but there's the safety taking the dig. There's Pearsall running the go, and there's literally nobody back there. So unfortunate they couldn't protect it. I think you probably end up throwing the dig, but still, I think you had it. I like this one, right? So what is the? I thought that there were a lot of young guys that flashed. This was pretty cool to see right here. There's a lot of young guys involved in this play. First, look at this speed to power, right? Force him left, throw again a ball that hangs up forever. But you got some young. There's two young guys blanketed over all over. You kind of wish one of them would catch it here, but they played a lot of young guys last night, and none of them stuck out for being bad, right? Like that's got to mean something going forward. Hopefully, more of those guys can play, get the experience, take their lumps in a year where you're probably going to take lumps. And this was great to see here. I thought they played screens really well, and that's the sign of a well-coached defense, right? If you don't get fly up field like a maniac, if you retrace and play screens, really good job on screens. Great job here by Sapp, and then the backers, and you'll see like the backers and the DBs came up and played these really well throughout the game. So well-coached defenses play screens well, right? They don't get fooled on screens a ton. Third quarter, again, like you got to make this was my biggest complaint. You got to make this is the corner. You got to make these guys pay. Get some play action off, so a hard play action off this look. Because you're going to see this. So you've got to have an idea of how you want to play this. Because man, and he's basically playing in the box. That's 9 dudes in the box. I also don't mind here. Bang. You hit slant later. There it is. And looks like that might be on right here. Would not have minded Mertz pulling this thing and throwing the slant. Pre-snap, I think you see. I might get that slant there. Now, he could just be running that, but man, there's some space there. You get one of your explosive guys, and they got a couple. Get one of them to catch one of those slants, break one tackle, see you, house, right? So that's what I would like to see a little bit more of. And maybe we'll going forward, right? Because I think you're going to see a lot more of this going forward. So if I'm playing Florida, I'm stacking the box, I'm playing deep, keeping everything in front of me. I'm going to make you work your way down the field, limit explosives, because elite offenses can do that. I don't think typically non-elite offenses can string really long drives together a ton. Good call here by Utah. Florida's running the stick concept. Utah, get the back down, you run the go. Utah brings the corner, rolls the safety over the top, so the goes out. This is what you got. A good job here picking this up. I know he had a rough night on social media, but good eyes here watching or kind of helping here and then watching for this, making him kind of have to run a wider loop there. And that's kind of all you got right there on that one. They did take it, get yourself into a third more manageable. 3rd and 6. This one you get exactly what you want. Pearsall kinds of throttles down here. I'm not quite sure why, but you get what you want right here. He's going to release vertical, try to hold this guy a little bit. He's underneath right now. He's out and then back behind it. If this guy drives on that at all, there should be a gigantic window here to your best receiver, hopefully catching it on the run, right? They bring blitz. Okay, that's fine. Right? I like that Mertz kind of looking here. This is what you want. He throws a little early, but man, snap your head around, get your hands up, catch this thing on the run and go. I think you have a chance. He looks like he throttles down a little bit. Maybe the ball just catches him off guard. But man, I think you want to be on the run here. And it's harder to see kind of the hole, but here's a better look at it, right? So that guy is not in the play. Here's the hole basically you have for this thing. If you catch it on the run, which here he kind of it feels like he throttles down a little bit, and I think the next view kind of shows that. But man, if you catch that thing on the run, split that, you got a chance right there. So I this is a call that I thought kind of was a good call, even against the blitz. Now, obviously, you wish you had a little bit longer just so he didn't have to throw this so soon, but man, if I said this is what you're getting right here, this window, you'd feel pretty good about that right there. So unfortunate. In the previous drive, I thought as bad as Florida played, they didn't get a ton of bounces either. I mean, you had the Utah backup quarterback Johnson fumble twice. The ball kicks right up back into his hands. I think it's kind of some of the bounces Florida got in this game last year where Etienne fumbles, it bounces right back up to him. The goal line stands, so Utah going in and not getting points out of the red zone. Kind of somewhat similar in that case, right? Similar to last year's game, but Florida's made a ton more mistakes than that Utah team did last year. So that's why you didn't have this game come down to the wire. All right, we showed the jet sweep earlier with Florida running it. This is a great job here, turning this thing back inside. Right, he's trying to do the same thing. He's trying to, if he gets him reached, it's over. This is a great job. Turn that thing back in, and then this dude played. I thought he played really well outside of a couple plays, and sadly we're about to see one. But running this thing down, he's going to be a good player. He's going to be a really good player. So here's the one I think he might have busted on. So they do a pretty good job here. I think you're going to get probably similar to the dig concept here. He's coming across. You have a safety kind of free over here. I think he's got to let this thing go, and then he can be a factor in the play here. So as that thing crosses his face, let this guy pick him up. You can kind of stay here, and now when he breaks the pocket, you can go get him. Right? And so from the back view here, you can see it, right? As he's crossing there, you take him. Now, I think I can be back here. This is my guess. I don't know. But, right, you don't need two on this. You don't need two guys there. So I think you could have passed it off, maybe stayed in the middle, and then as he breaks the pocket, we just saw his speed on the last play. This dude ain't scoring if he's in the middle of the field, right, and involved. So just one, he didn't make many mistakes. I think that might have been one. And I'm kind of guessing a little bit there, but I think I'm right. So 1st and 10, you're down 24. So double move. This one works. Why does this one work? Some of the other double moves did not work, right? You saw a couple where they tried to slant and go or hitch and go, and you saw Mertz pumping, and you heard Herbstreit talking about, well, why is he pumping? It doesn't look. Those didn't work because these guys are. He's up here, but they're turning and bailing. They're giving ground, right? Why did this one work? You kind of get into his cushion there by going to 10 yards and then break it out. So get on his toes, break his cushion, and then get vertical. Get on his toes, break his cushion, and then a better ball here. I think he scores, right? If it's the Richardson throw against FSU to start the game, probably a touchdown, right? That throw hit to Pearsall. But, hey, man, catchable balls for big gains. We'll take it. Unfortunately, don't score here on this drive, but all right. So here's a snag concept. Air raid guys call it Y corner. I've always called it snag. Common quick game concept. People run it probably NFL down to JV football. People run it's a tried and true one. Good read here to the corner. Good throw. First down. So you're getting some stuff going. You're moving the ball all right. Jet sweep. But again, a lot of play with or a lot of attention to the run game. I thought, I didn't think Florida did really well on the backside of these zones, which is something that's important. They had trouble kind of getting across this guy's face. I don't know if he's in a 3. It's hard to tell exactly, but that's difficult to get across his face to overtake that. Now, maybe, right, you're thinking, well, don't come off this too soon, because you'll see who ends up making the play. Guard comes off for the backer who's filling. He's not able to get his hat across. He ends up kind of making the play here. But how do you keep this guy from filling so fast, right? If hey, I got to get off the double team because he's filling. Bang, throw that thing in there, right? That's where I think Florida's got to do a better job protecting their run game with RPOs and intermediates. But here's another way to do it: screen game. I thought the screen game was great for Florida. A couple. I think there was one or two that weren't. There was maybe one that was not great, and that's because Mertz kind of missed the throw, tried to kind of sidearm angle it, missed it. It was going to be blocked, right? And this is one where this one hurts, right? Especially you can see here. It's cuts a little early, but right when they come out of this helmet, look, the guys are both a little up high. See if we can see it. And so they jump back because they thought they were off sides, right? So he's jumped back too far. Pearsall tries to push him up. He says, hey, man, I think you need to get on. He comes in, he goes, no, I don't mean that. I mean, get on the ball. You see him right here. All right. It looks like he sticks his hand out to give the sign to the ref, like, hey, I'm on. Doesn't look and confirm it. And you get the flag on what would have been a first down inside the 10. Instead, you get 3rd and 6. I thought this play was going to go for a lot more right here. I like the idea here, leading the way. Didn't get outside. Great job by the Utah linebacker here getting to it. Center's not quite able to get up to him. Gets a hand on him, but he's able to kind of get off here. I kind of wish you'd take this thing more to the sideline, make it a foot race, but they played it pretty well. You still pick up a decent amount, get yourself into a 4th and 3. And this is the one I'm sure people are like, what are they thinking? And I'm here to tell you, it wasn't a bad call. Now, before you turn off the video, let's watch it, right? So, jet motion. So, what's the idea here? The idea here is we're going to down block, down, jet motion, get some people to fly out with the jet motion. And then we're going to pull a guard to lead. And then this is probably the more, I would say egregious, but this the more baffling part of the play is who you pitch the ball to. You're not one of your better, just not one of your more skilled guys here, right? So, but the call is there. I think you get a technique mess up, or you just get a totally blown assignment here. Right tackle. So there's on the backside of zone stuff. Sometimes there's a technique people will give ground to gain ground, right? So instead of just trying to beat you here, especially more non-athletic guys, when they see movement, right, they're going to give a little bit of ground to try to make, instead of having to meet you here, maybe they can meet you here, and it gives them a better chance to get an angle, right? And then they can get the push and push you out of the way, right? So the right tackle is either thinking, I got to give ground to gain ground here, or he's got a totally wrong play, and he looks like he almost pulls into your puller, and that kind of blows up the whole play. If this is blocked correctly, I think this is a first down. So let's look at it here, and we'll see where the alley would be. And you're going to have to look through some people. But your right tackle is, let's say he's right here. All right. Both these guys, the jet motion takes them out. The jet motion takes him out. So right here, let's just say he is actually here and blocking right there. He is out of the play. He's going to take himself out of the play. Your guard is coming here to kick out right there. There is your alley for him to catch the ball, and there will be nobody there. Everyone will be blocked up, right? Right. But this causes him to have to move out of the way. He doesn't get the down block. He doesn't get this block. So this guy's able to jump in there. But you're almost like right here. Bang. Bang. For this guy coming up. There's a big alley right there. This thing looked sweet on the board. They got the exact look they wanted, and they just didn't execute it. So would you like to pitch the ball to maybe number 3? Sure. You know, maybe another one of the tight ends even. But that's not the issue on the play. The issue was you got two guys. You almost had the redo of the two Gators blocking each other, right? Just because somebody blew an assignment or used a bad technique. So that's something that could be fixed, but I don't know if we'll see that one again. Another great job here on screen. Just wanted to put these on, like DBs and linebackers avoiding blocks, flying to the ball. Great job. All right, so after a penalty, you're in 1st and 15. Motion. I like the wrinkle here for the screen. Motion. Inside out this thing. Bang. Bang. There, like cross block that. That's nice, especially if you're getting cover 3 and this guy's bailing. Well, perfect. Now I got a chance to – he's going to bail at the snap, get hands on him. And I thought Pearsall looked pretty good run after the catch as well. So you got a couple guys that can do something right after the catch. That's why those intermediate play action stuff would be even better. So hopefully that stuff gets in. Great screen again. And this is one they kind of want to run a little bit later. But this dude is a big dude. Into the boundary, I think he's good. To the field, you'll see later, that's a lot of running. But, man, he does a pretty good job right here. And you pick up a nice play. Again, another great call on the screen. Loved more screens. I really thought that was a good part of the plan there. Here's one where, I think there's been some cries for you want an outlet. I think this is what you're going to get here is that. They blitz. Perfect. Mertz sees it. He's going to drop it off. You get a tip on. You get tipped here. And here's one. I don't know why you're not. This is one where the protection, I don't know why you're sliding here. Especially if you're bringing the back across here. I would have slid, and I don't know who makes that call, but I think if it's depending on what your slide is, but I think you want the slide here if the back's going the other way. Right? So regardless, you could have even full slid it, which they did a little bit. Fake, and he's off the edge. Might have been in better shape, but not much you can do there. But you identify it, you have an outlet there, ball gets tipped. So pull a guard on play action. I thought this was a really good throw. That's good. Two hands that might have been caught. Probably should have been called interference if you watch the other angle here. But I like it. Take a shot. It's 2nd and 10, play action. He's won. Tighter coverage, but hey, man, good ball. Then here's one I think is RPO. If it's me, right, and this could be just like a levels concept here. This screams all day, pull this thing and throw. So this is one I think you'd want to have back. I think maybe this off the edge, but man, rip that thing right here. Give him the ball. You get him the ball on the run, I think you got a chance to get the first down. I feel pretty good about that after seeing him a little bit last night. So this is one I think is an RPO here. Pull that thing, rip that thing out and throw it. Said you run it into kind of a little box, end up not converting. And this is kind of, I've seen a few times that once Utah got up 24-3, they just went vanilla. They packed it in totally. First of all, on defense, they're blitzing late into the game. I'm talking about there's less than 2 minutes in the game they're blitzing guys. So, and then here you're running reverses. They didn't pack it in. All right, another terrible field position. I think these, right, you're getting so much play with a run game. Boots and these kind of things are important to protect your run game. There's nobody. More of that, right? You've got to use you've got to use those play actions to protect the run game a little bit more. You let them kind of dictate a little bit. Where if you burn them a few times on this, maybe they're a step slower to the run game. Maybe you can start running the ball a little bit more. Now, did game state and the new clock rules kind of make you get out of the running the ball early? Probably, right? But you got to make them pay. So right here, you got to do just not a great job on the right side there. Again, you want to get this guy reached. You don't want to throw him into the legs of your backer. Then same thing here. Get your helmet outside. Backs has to get strung out. Don't get much there. 2nd and 10 here. Bring pressure, drop it off. Right. There's been some stuff made about the average depth of target in this game, but when you're bringing a ton of pressure and you're running a ton of screens and the protection's not holding up, I'm fine getting the ball out of your hands as quick as possible. Here's something I think you should have seen a few different times in the game. Curl there, dig behind it, tried and true concept. You see a lot of people run. Notre Dame hit something similar inside against Navy last week. You see a lot of people running this kind of stuff. Get the pass interference. That's great. Later, I think you get that play called again and the receiver goes to block, and that's when you get one sack. Again, pressure, get the ball out of your hand. Like this is just, hey man, that's smart. Just distribute the ball. You don't got one to block him. Get it out of your hands. Good job. Putting Pierce on the backfield, motion him out, make those guys run. Right, that's what I thought the plan would be a little bit more. Make them try to get them in space a little bit more. This is one where you just can't. Like this guy, he's not. I don't think he goes inside here, gets caught. He's not going to get back outside. He's not that kind of guy. I don't think athleticism wise. So you're not going to get to the corner there. Now, again, maybe you just like, hey, even if he doesn't get there, we're going to make a corner tackle. You're also hoping that as this comes in here, he gets caught inside a little bit too, and you can maybe get behind him there and kind of catch him inside. But he plays it well. And then this is the other thing I'd like to see kind of off of this move here. And I'm sure it's coming. But man, like this guy's running this hard. Slip that. And then there's your shot right there, right? So All right, 3rd and 7. Motion, screen. Again, great. Into the boundary, this dude can be a problem on screens just because he's big and he can move all right, but he's not a field guy, I don't think. But to the boundary right here, he's big, strong. He gets his hands on you, you're going to move a little bit. Well blocked right here. You can see it again. Utah, right, getting pressure. They're coming. Hit him with screen. Great job. And again, that guy's got a different acceleration than everybody else. So more ball, more touches for him. Here's one, bouncing. Again, the backside's not. You go tackle over here. So, but I think he wants to press it in here. But good job bouncing this thing around, holding up at the point of attack. Decent run there. Here's one where if you got a tight end here and you're motioning across, well, that means I probably got to be on. So you need to be on here. 3rd and 5, you're on. You get what you want. A good run there on 3rd down. You convert, and now you're in 3rd and 10 instead. So double slant, you're getting a lot of too high. Great quick game against too high is double slant. They go double slant to both sides. In the back, checks down. Good job of Mertz not forcing it, dropping it to the check down here. Get vertical, hit the ref, make them feel a little bit too. Get to 4th and 2. Good concept here. And then wide, kind of a wider release go. Trying to first thing out, trying to widen that. First thing in is this. I think maybe if you get a box check, you're hoping that'll open up right there. Utah kind of obliges here by bringing pressure, adding on. Now he still gets a hand on the ball because why not? But you got a guy wide open, conversion. And then put formation in the boundary. Same thing they did against Texas A&M last year. They just need to put formation in the boundary and throw these go routes out here because every time they do it, the receiver makes a spectacular catch. So right here, go right now. Great catch for a touchdown. And so there were flashes of good stuff. And then, interestingly enough here, no tight ends on the field. Looks like 10 personnel, little empty, short motion here. Or not even, right? Do the motion? No, not even short motion. Vertical, bang underneath. Dude's explosive. More touches for him. I think he's earned some more touches. All right, so you get the ball back. Chance to make it a little bit tighter. So right here, trying to go sluggo, but again, I'm not a big fan of this. I guess he's not playing as far off as he has, but they've been pedaling. I think you got to push them a little more vertical before you get them to bite too much. Good job here by Mertz, just dropping it down. This is a good job, just stepping up in the pocket. Better job by the back, helping out too. Right, this was a kind of a protection mismatch right there, but the back helps. Mertz navigates the pocket well here. Instead of taking off, finds the receiver. Good deal. 1st and 10. Jet motion. Probably double curls. It's hard to see, but this is like their double curl look. This could be a kind of a option for the receiver. They might be able to convert that to a go maybe, but double curl look. They ran that a lot last year. Curl, 12 yards. That's fine. Keep moving the ball down the field. This is one where you can see before I cut it here, he's kind of asking what's the play. Looks like just a busted play by the receivers. Mertz is trying to figure it out. He's able to drop it off to the back who gets out. You can see he's asking, what do I do? Those are the growing pains you go through when you're playing young guys. You may miss the play, but man, I think it's worth the trade-off, right? 2nd and 7. I think this one's maybe a little greedy here. I think you end up getting a holding call, and then, but again, more touches, please. But here, if he's bailing, just bang, take this thing right now. Don't need to wait. Take it. Ball's out of your hands before this holding even happens. You don't have to worry about it. So instead of, if you get the ball to ETN right here on the run, I feel pretty good with him getting a first down or pretty close to it. So, but instead, that's when I think Mertz might want back. Throw the ball to the back. Instead, you get in 2nd and 17. Utah's playing way off. That's fine. Take it. Get yourself into a 3rd and easier. 3rd and 9 still. Again, this is basically kind of their version of another way to run snag, where he's going to be right. We showed snag earlier. You got a guy running the snag route to get where Pearsall's at. You got a guy running the flat route to get where Odom's at. You got a guy running the corner where Burke's at. But instead of doing it all from the same side, they do it from different sides, but the landmarks are the same. And if you get man coverage, you got a guy coming across. You get yourself in a 4th and 3. Again, double slants, good against man coverage, good against too high. So if you're not sure what you got, you're good both there. Not sure why he didn't like this one down here. Maybe he thought this guy's going to drop underneath it, which you should be all right. You should be able to go inside out, but for whatever reason, he likes this one. Comes back, hits the outside one. Good ball. First down. Now we're at 2nd and 8 here. Again, you see kind of hey, what's the call, right? This is the one you had. You had exactly what you want. Just get this guy off the edge. So this is where, everyone's like, Utah called the dogs off. Less than 2 minutes in the game, they're bringing the corner off the edge, right? They didn't call the dogs off. And you'll see from the back view, you get exactly what you want, right? This little move here widens him. He's going to get back behind this guy. If you're able to kind of see this here, if you kind of can have eyes, which is tough, but if he can see this and come off and get a piece, this is a touchdown, right? Because it barely misses as is. It gets off the fingertips. And that's all caused by that pressure. And so instead of that, you're in 3rd and 8. And here's one where I'm pretty sure the call was here and then a dig. All right, you got a guy that hasn't played a ton out there at receiver. And he's blocking. So Mertz, I think, is ready to throw this dig. Right, because if he's here, man, there's the dig coming behind it, except he's not running the dig. Mertz then tries to come down to the back because he realizes, oh, crap, that's not there. Let me come to the back, and by the time he does that, it's on him, right? And luckily, he doesn't fumble the ball there because that's tough. But I think that's a bust from the receiver, would be my guess. Again, I don't think he's supposed to be blocking there. So I would imagine he's got the dig. That's what Mertz was waiting for. And then you have a 4th and 14 where you're not going to convert a lot of those. So an hour, I'm sure you wanted to relive the game for an hour. But, this is one of those things where you play a good team and you play really poorly and you still feel like you had some chances. If you're going to be positive, you think, okay, it's, if they play perfect and get blown out, you don't really feel good. But you didn't play perfect. You played far from it on offense. And had drives down in the 20 that if you score points on, maybe the game's different. Now, you didn't do that. A lot of it was your fault. You got to fix that. But, game 1, I wouldn't quit on the season just yet. I wouldn't fire the coaches just yet. wait at least 3 weeks, then you can fire coaches, right? So, um, not a great start, but I thought there were some things to build on and some areas that obviously need improvement, but I think they can be improved upon. This team is not a national champion, not a conference champion, but I think they can get better as the year goes on and be a team where they're fun to watch, and you got a lot of young guys making plays, which I think if you can do that, you can have. If you have young guys making plays, you kind of end the year with a win in a bowl game, and you maintain your recruiting class. I think you'll take that, and I think all that's still in front of them. But going to have to get better production and a lot less self-inflicted wounds there. So can they do it? I think they'll be able to do it against McNeese State, but the real test is going to come in a couple weeks. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment so we can game this YouTube algorithm together. Thanks for watching.